What is up, Realize Man? In today's video, I'm going to share with you a story about how I lost 40 G's, but it ended up being the best decision I've ever made in my life. There's a hidden message here about following your dreams, following your passions, and this is going to be really important to you. It's perhaps the most important video I've ever done. So let's just get started. So how did I lose the $40,000? Well, I lost $40,000 because I dropped out of my mechanical engineering degree. And I didn't drop out because I couldn't afford it. I didn't drop out because the subjects were too hard. It was none of those things. I dropped out because it wasn't aligned with who I wanted to be. And keep in mind, I actually passed all the subjects, right? So from first year to fourth year, all credit points, all that, I passed everything besides the work experience. That's the bit that I skipped, and that's what led me to drop out. And I'm gonna explain all this, but to get the context, we need to go back in time, some 12 years ago. So 12 years ago, I'm in school with my homies, and I'm in math class, and my teacher, my math teacher, his name is Mr. Nazim, God bless him. He says to me and my friend, "You boys are smart. You boys should do engineering because there's good money in that. Engineers make so much money. You guys should do it." So me and my friend, we said, "All right, let's do it." You know, we lived at the time. I was staying in a small town, and it was either going to university or picking up a trade. So I was like, "All right, I'm gonna get this money." So I chose all the subjects that would take me on that path of engineering: the physics, the chemistry, the advanced mathematics, all that. I did all those Laplace transforms. I did all those Fourier series. I did everything, right? And I did it so well that I actually got invited into university before the final exams of high school because my track record was so good, right? So my record was actually good that they took me in early without having to see my final results. So that was a big thing. I was very happy. So after the first year of university of studying engineering, I felt that something was wrong. You see, I went into the degree thinking that I'm gonna be like Tony Stark, like Elon Musk, designing cool stuff that's gonna really, revolutionize the world and getting this real good grip on how things work. But in reality, all I got was a bunch of PowerPoints from some old lecturers that didn't look like they wanted to be there. And the PowerPoints were just copy paste from the textbook. I would go home, search topics up on YouTube, and find people explain it better than my lecturers. And I was thinking, why am I paying so much money for this crap? But I kept going because everybody told me to do it, right? I was a very different man back then, more like a boy. Because everybody else was doing it, everybody told me to do it, so I just kept doing it. But that feeling was deep inside, this kind of discontent, feeling like I was doing something wrong because no matter what I did, I just could not get myself invested in what I was learning. I couldn't get myself excited. It was such, I'd leave things for the last minute. I'd try to find cheat codes and past papers with answers just to pass these exams. It was just so boring, It was killing me. It was kind of like when people come up to you and they start talking about the royal family and they're like, "Oh, Prince Charles, oh, Prince Harry, this, that." You don't really give a shit because you don't care. It was like that for me. And while this was happening, I was also working a job where I was stacking shelves, right? So I was stacking shelves in a supermarket, and it was my first real taste of what it was like to work full time because I was working lots of hours, finishing at 5 a.m. sometimes. And I was getting quite a bit of abuse over things that weren't really my fault. Like, it seemed like the bosses, that your managers just wanted to take out their frustrations, their anger on someone, and the employees were the easiest people to do it. So it felt demeaning. I'm working there and getting this abuse for no reason. And it got to the point where I said to myself, look, I'm not gonna get another job. I'm gonna figure out how to work this entrepreneurship thing. I'm gonna figure out how to work this YouTube thing. I'm gonna figure out how to work this thing that I'm seeing other people do on the internet every day. Because when I do this stuff, I feel good, I feel fulfilled. It's a different type of feeling. You feel like you're perfectly aligned. You know, it's like the feeling that a lion probably gets when it's eating a gazelle. You know, it feels like a lion. It's like, yeah. But if a lion's eating like, watermelon, it just doesn't feel right. That's how I was feeling. So I had this kind of juxtaposition where I enjoyed this self-improvement stuff, this entrepreneurship stuff. I wasn't making much money from it at the time. On the other side, I was doing this prestigious degree that everybody admired, everybody favored. And I'm gonna be honest, I would pull it up whenever I talk to people, just like a vegan, If you want to know if someone's a vegan, they'll tell you. Whenever I talk to girls, I'll tell them, hey, I'm studying mechanical engineering. I'm gonna be an engineer. Whenever I talk to new people, hey, I'm studying engineering. I'm gonna be an engineer. So I'm actually an engineering student, and actually, he's on my textbooks right now. Principles of heat and mass transfer. Boring! So when I finished all the subjects sometime, I think 2017, 2018, I thought, okay, I'll take a break. Before doing the work experience. I'll do my entrepreneurship thing a little bit, and then I'll finish it off. I never finished it off. For years and years, I'll go back and forth with myself. The logical mind telling me, hey, you need to do this. This is the sensible thing. This is the right thing to do. You need something to fall back on. This is a strong foundation. You've spent your life working on this, right? And the other part of me was telling me, why would you do this? Every single person that's telling you to do this is miserable. Every single person that followed this path hates their life right now. Why would you do this? So I had this cognitive dissonance going on for years. This weight on my shoulders, this thing in the back of my mind, always, that I had to finish this, I had to do this. And if I wanted to not do this, I had to justify not doing it by maybe making $1 million with this thing, right? But I got to a point where I just made a decision. I said, no, I'm not doing this shit. I'm not doing this, and I'm gonna follow my path. I'm gonna follow what's true to me. I'm gonna follow what makes me feel good, what makes me feel like the lion in the zebra's neck, what makes me fulfilled. I made a decision, I cut ties, and I remembered that thing I said to myself on my last day of my job, that I would never work another job again. So being true to myself was more important than doing what was sensible, following the socially conditioned narrative where you get the degree that you hate, and you get the job that you hate, and then you get the mortgage for some reason, and you get the house, and you marry the first girl you've ever seen, where you're not compatible, and you have kids, and you're stuck, and you're locked, and you work until you're 65, and then you die depressed, never accomplishing half the things you thought you were. That was not for me. I said no. I said, fuck that shit. I'm not doing that. So when I made that decision, let me tell you, it's almost like the stars aligned, because things changed. Everything became easier. The money I was making doubled, tripled. I was making more money per month than I was per year previously, when I was following what everyone else told me to do. Every day felt amazing, feeling good, doing what I wanted, working on my own terms, doing something that makes me feel good because I'm leaving a legacy behind, because I'm helping and benefiting. There's a situation in life where you can win, doing what you love to do. Don't listen to other people. 99% of people are just following the script. They're following the bullshit that's been programmed to them by society for years and years and years. This idea that you have to follow a particular path. And once you're on that path, you can't go back. This idea that's kind of fulfilled by the sunken loss fallacy. When someone's gambling, playing the pokies, the poker machine, and they're down $500. They've spent $500. Instead of stopping and going home before they lose more money, they're just gonna keep playing, trying to reclaim their money, and they end up losing everything. That's how people approach their lives. Too worried about the opinions of others, the opinions of their friends, their family, the opinions of strangers. Why worry about that shit? This is your life. I was watching an interview the other day. It was actually Jeff Bezos. I know a lot of you guys hate Jeff Bezos. Just try to look at this subjectively, all right? Put your subjective opinions to the side. And this interviewer was asking him, what made you decide to go after Amazon when you had this high-paying job at Wall Street? And he said he had to make a decision to stay in this high-paying job on Wall Street or to go after this startup when the internet was still a strange thing. And he used what he called a regret minimization framework. He thought about himself on his deathbed and all the regrets he would have. Would he regret going after Amazon? He decided no, he wouldn't. The rest is history. Same thing with me. Would I regret following the social condition path and being miserable? Yes. Would I regret going after what I loved? No. It's worked out great. The interesting thing is, a lot of my friends that actually had the same sentiment as me but kept going down that path are completely miserable. They're completely miserable. Some of them are seeing psychologists. A lot of them have already quit their jobs because they just couldn't take the stress. It's too toxic. So I know where that path goes. Look, I coach a lot of men and they come to me always complaining about their situation, about their jobs. 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds, right? People just getting into the workforce, 25. Always complaining. They're like, you know, work sucks. I don't feel good. I don't know what my purpose is. I know what my passion is. Well, let me tell you, this is for you to figure out. No one's going to do it for you. You can follow society's script, but look at the people that are following it. Do they look happy to you? They're not happy. And this isn't a video ranting against engineering, right? If you love engineering, if you thrive off that, I need you to be building our bridges. I need you to be designing our skyscrapers and that type of thing, you know, calculating the bending moments and doing the finite element analysis. We need you to be doing that because you're the right person for that job. I believe we can have a world where everybody is perfectly fit for what they want to do and things just work magically. But we shouldn't be doing shit we don't like to do, things we are not involved in, like with all our hearts. And that's the message of this video. I know you have a choice. You have a decision that you've been trying to make, but you haven't made it. And you know what decision it is? It's the one that you thought of when I said that. It's time for you to make it. Or continue living your life thinking, what if, what if? Now, this ain't no motivational rah, rah, rah. This is real life, right? You don't want to regret your life. Make that decision. Who cares what anyone else thinks? At the end of the day, it's about how good you feel. It's about your self-trust. And I'm telling you, when you're perfectly aligned, things are going to work out like crazy. Do this, and I promise you'll be one step closer to living and dying well. Thanks for watching the video. I appreciate you. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell notifications so we can see more of each other. Until next time.